Jesus Christ, our God, who said to us, younger disciples and holy apostles, many prophets and righteous men have desired to see the things you see and have not seen them, and to hear the things you hear and have not heard them. But as for you, blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. May you be worthy to hear and to act according to the Holy Gospel through the prayers of your saints.
Pray for the Holy Gospel.
Lord, have
Remember also our Master and those who have been asked to remember them in our supplications and prayers, which we offer up unto you, O Lord our God. Those who have already fallen asleep, repose them. Those who are sick, heal them. For you are the life of us all, the salvation of us all, the hope of us all, the aim of us all, and the resurrection of us all.
Psalm of David, hallelujah. The heavens are yours, and the earth also is yours. The world and all its fullness you have founded the north and the south you have created them. Strong is your hand and high is your right hand.
Kyrie Froison Toccata Marcon Agio Evangelio Tuananos
Jesus Christ, Son of the living God, to whom is glory. The Gospel according to Saint Mark, may his blessing be with us all, amen. Now as he sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter, James, John, and Andrew asked him privately, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign when all these things will be fulfilled?" And Jesus answering them began to say, "Take heed that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and will deceive many. But when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be troubled, for such things must happen, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be earthquakes in various places, and there will be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. But watch out for yourselves, for they will deliver you up to councils, and will be beaten in the synagogues. You will be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony to them. And the gospel must first be preached to all the nations. But when they arrest you and deliver you up, do not worry beforehand or premeditate what you will speak, but whatever is given you in that hour, speak that, for it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit. Now brother will betray brother to death, and the father is child, and children will rise up against parents and cause them to be put to death. All you will be hated by all for my name's sake, but he who endures to the end shall be saved. So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is in the house stop, not go down into the house, nor enter to take anything out of his house. And let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing babies in these days, and pray that your flight might not be in winter. For in those days there will be tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the creation which God created until this time, nor ever shall be. And unless the Lord has shortened these days, no flesh would be saved. Do not believe that for false Christs and false prophets will rise and show signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. But take heed, see, I have told you all things beforehand. But in those days after that tribulation, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars of heaven will fall, and the powers in the heaven will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then he will send his angels and gather together which has already become tender, and puts will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Take heed, watch and pray, for you do not know when the time is. It is like a man going to a far country, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to each his work, and commanded the doorkeeper to watch. Watch therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, at midnight, at the crowing of the rooster, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to all one.
Glory be to God who
In the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Today, the Gospel according to St. Mark. And today, we are going to learn a wonderful lesson in our life, and we meditate on it and we concentrate about it. First of all, that happened when the disciples gathered with Lord Jesus Christ, and when they are sitting on the mountain of Zaitun. So the disciples came to Lord Jesus Christ and they told him, when will be the time for the second coming? Can we wait? What's going on? They said that to him because they thought when they look at from the mountain, they will see the temple there. And they saw the temple will be demolished at that time. So they thought the second coming is near, because they found the temple, demolished, like it's destroyed. But Lord Jesus Christ, He told them a lot of signs, and this is false signs. But it is a sign for us to be awake. Not to say the second coming is coming, or to say that. Not to be afraid. Not to calculate the time when it's going to be the time. And I'm sure that these days we heard it that 9/9, 2009, 11/11, 2011, will be the end of the day. I'm sure that you heard this from a lot of people. And those people, they are, they are false prophets. They will really let a lot of people to go and to think, about, the end of the day. And while they are not preparing themselves, they are not preparing their hearts to know Lord Jesus Christ. So some of the sign that God gave it to the disciple. One of the sign, He told them that take heed that no one will deceive you, for many will come in my name saying, I am He, and will deceive many. So the first sign and the first false sign that you will see that, false prophet will come, and will deceive us. They will say, oh, we do miracles, we do healing. I don't want to mention name, or I don't want to, to talk about that. But you will find this false prophet, when they have their hand on your head, you will fall down on the ground, and whatever, they will say something to you, and this is false prophet. This is people, and we all gather around that, and we think this is the Messiah. This is the one that will save us. And we forgot all about what is in our heart. We have to clean our heart. The other sign, when we hear about earthquake, hurricanes, famine, and all of the time will come. This is the end of the world. This is the end of the world. And after that, we'll start to, we'll be worried, and we are not preparing ourselves. We prepare ourselves, yes, we have, like for this hurricane, for example, every person went to the shop and preparing for water, preparing yourself for materialistic thing. But am I preparing myself to clean my heart, to already concentrate about Lord Jesus Christ, and will be determined, go on my life, have Lord Jesus Christ, or just prepare myself during this time, promising God, I will be okay, believe me, Lord Jesus Christ, but let that will pass in peace, and you will see me completely different. Definitely you are not going to change, because you depend on signs. You depend on a person come to you, or an earthquake, or a hurricane, or something like that. So Lord Jesus Christ, He said, this is false thing for you. One of the false also sign that you will think that the end of the day will come when, country will be against country, people against people, brother against his brother, sister against their sister, and friends against each other. And we hear that every day. We hear that every day. Even from the beginning of the days when it started, when God He created the whole world, until these days, we hear all about these things. But the time, and we hear also about some of the signs, false prophets, and all of these things. But if you will concentrate about what Lord Jesus Christ wanted to say at the end of the gospel today, He said that, be careful, watch yourself, don't concentrate about signs and all of these things, but He said that, take heed, watch and pray, for you do not know when the time is. You do not know when the time is. It is like a man going to a far country who left his house and gave authority to his servants, which is you and me and everybody, and to each his work, and commanded the doorkeeper to watch. So he said, watch therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, at midnight, at the crowing of the rooster, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to all, watch. So this is the message today. We have to watch. We have to clean our heart. We claim that we are Christian, but we are not. We claim that you are Christian, but we are not. I believe that, like you all know that, the Randy, he loved God. He loved God. But he said that because of the Christian, I will be away from that God. Because we claim that we are Christian, but we, in our work, in our deed, in our action, in our thoughts, in our behavior, we already prove that we are not a true Christian. I'm going to say, one story or two stories about, how really we concentrate about, ourselves, we concentrate about our hearts, our tongues, our eyes, our ears, our thoughts. It's about a teacher. About a teacher. He claimed that he's a teacher. And I'm worried also that will be for the servant. I'm worried also that will be for everybody whom they always, judge, and whom they always claim that they are, they do perfect thing in their life, while they are, in their hearts, they don't have God in their hearts. One day, one of the teachers, he asked his children, and he told them that they have, to have the folder in their right hand and to lift up the folder while they are carrying the folder in their right hand. So all the kids, they listened and they raised their folder while they are carrying the folder in their right hand, except one of the child, that he carried the folder in his left hand. And and he realized that that child, he realized that he carried the folder in his left hand. So the teacher, he gave the command again, please, I need everybody to carry the folder in your right hand. So every person, they carried the folder in their right hand, except that child, he carried the folder in his left hand. So the teacher, he said that I want to give this child a lesson in his life. He was a nervous teacher. He already, treat everybody, because he thought that when he's treating everybody, while he uses his authority, while he's nervous, while he's angry, while he's, this is whatever, this is he already is right, and everybody's wrong. So that teacher, he said that I wanted to teach him a lesson, and how he has to be an obedient child. And I wanted to, take him as an example for the rest of the children. As he approached the student, he started to be fear and to panic. You know why? Because he found that his right hand was cut. He doesn't have a right hand. So that teacher, after he was was so angry and so furious, and he wanted to give that child a lesson in his life. He started to cry. He has tears filled with his eye, and felt a sore feeling that the days would not take away. He realized for the first time that always he was a teacher. He needed to learn a lot about the way of life. And although that he was a teacher, although that he was had an authority and all of these things, and he's he can do whatever he wanted to do, he realized that he doesn't have to judge quickly, and to be nervous, and this child, that student, to give him a lesson in his life. So he started to watch himself and to be a meek teacher, a nice person in his life. So he started to be really kind, decent, and also he changed it into an encouraging person, not to discourage other people. So be aware of your words and watch what you say. As a true Christian, don't wait for a false prophet to come to you. Don't wait for and don't say the end of the day is going to be today or tomorrow, and don't calculate these things while your heart is filled with misery, while your heart is filled with bad thoughts, your action, what's going to happen to you. I know that a lot of people, they saw miracles in their life. Do you think that this miracle will change your life? Are you waiting for a miracle to change your life? Lord Jesus Christ is telling us false things will appear in our life. But if you are not really clean your heart, clean your eye, clean your thoughts, and to be a true Christian, by no means, even if you are perfect in calculation, even if you are really know what's going on and all of these things, you will lose your eternity. So it's very important for everybody to clean yourself. Watch yourself. Watch your behavior, your action. Don't judge. Don't talk about others. Have Lord Jesus Christ in your heart. Change your heart completely. This is a day for everybody to change and to come to Lord Jesus Christ. May God dwell in our heart, change our heart completely, and fill our hearts with peace and happiness, and glory be to God forever and ever.